All right, I think I've got everything going now. I think I'm live. Maybe. Yep, there we are. Okay. When you hop on, say hi. Let me know you're here. Welcome to our Friday afternoon wreath therapy. How's everyone's week been? Hi there. When I see that, I don't know if it's you or if it's Casey or so. Hey, hardworking mom. So today we're going to do something a little different. I know a few months ago, I think it was back when we were doing something winter, I wanted to do like an S-shaped wreath. I didn't have the right greens and it really kind of flopped. The wreath turned out beautiful regardless, but I wanted to try to attempt to teach that again today. Okay. Hi, Lori. I hope you're feeling better. How did your surgery go? Tooth pain is the absolute worst. Hey, Tracy. Hey, Rosa. All right, so let's just jump right in. I'm going to take a second and I'm going to go grab the one that I've already done to kind of show you what I'm talking about, and then we'll dive into building this one, okay? So the Hogarth curve, or the lazy S, is a design style used in floral arranging, and it's a fairly popular one. It went okay, you're on your pain meds. Awesome. Just take it easy, recuperate. We will still be here when you are healed and able to come live. So just know you're on my prayer list. So the Hogarth curve is something created by William Hogarth back in the 18th century, I think. He wrote a book called The Art of Lines. It's something they teach in floral design courses. And he believed that this S-shaped line gave liveliness to your piece and enough interest that it was really exciting for the people who got to view these pieces that he created. So we're going to take what has typically been used as a style of floral arrangement, and we're going to apply that to a grapevine base. Now, the one I'm getting ready to show you was done on an 18-inch. And I'm going to show you a couple of different options here. So here's the actual wreath. Let me get you in a good picture here. So as you can see, the shape is S, an S shape. That's all it is. Nothing super hard about it. It's just making sure your greens are placed and they lay in a way that they create an S shape within your design. So this one, made on an 18-inch, you can leave it as is because it's really gorgeous. Or you can also take and add a sign up here as well. Let me try to hold it from this side so I'm not blocking the whole piece. So you can add a sign. I hate trying to get the right camera angle for y'all. But you can add a sign. Okay, so you can do it just by itself, or you can add a sign. Aren't they gorgeous? I love these colors. I actually did this one for my daughter. They just bought a new house, and this is her color scheme. So this one's actually going to be shipped to her, but I wanted to use it to show you guys kind of what I was talking about. So let's just dive right into the design. I'll have pictures of this one up probably sometime this weekend. I'm really particular about taking my pictures. So if it's a super bright sunny day, the way the sun hits my front door, it's just not real good for picture taking. So I typically wait for a day that I can get some good pictures, which is a cloudy, overcast day. I would love some signs. Yes. All right. So the version we're going to do today of this Lazy S is going to be done on a 14-inch. And I'm doing it on a 14-inch because I do not intend to put a sign on this. So like the other one, I built it on an 18-inch. You can have two listings out of that. List it without a sign, list it with a sign. Okay, but you need that 18-inch for those big, 12-inch signs. Okay, if you were using the smaller, I think they're 8-inch round signs, you could probably put one of those on this. But again, this mainly the 14-inch is what I'm going to reserve for ones that I won't be adding a sign to. All right, my mouth is dry. The doctor put me on a bunch of new meds this week, and my body's still not acclimated. Okay, as you can see, we have a plethora of nice juicy textures here, but I want to pull one full stem of what we're working with and show you. So you'll probably see these all the time. They're the foam, floral pieces in a craft store. This is the one that I used that I just showed you. Okay, now these things are super bendy. They keep the shape really well, and they hold up good outside. Okay, and they look real, they feel real, they're awesome. If y'all have not worked with these kind of greens, you should. So the one that we're going to use today, this is it. I cut them down already because I still haven't sharpened my cutters, so I had to get that done before we came live, so y'all didn't see me struggle. So we're going to take two of these. I've already cut them down, but this is what they look like. My scissors. Oh, please tell me the kids didn't come get them again. Oh, I can use these, I think. Yeah, I can use these. All right. So basically, you want to create an S pattern. And you're going to do that by the first thing that you put down, which is your base. So I've already taken these picks, cut them down, and I just take my hand and run down it to give it that shape. Now you can fan it out, you can play with each individual one and, make them lay in different directions, whatever. You can have it a little more open instead of closed. It doesn't have to be a super pronounced S. It can be a slight S. It can be a sideways S. It can be, vertical. You have some play with it, just as long as you're creating an S line inside your piece. Hi, Esther. How are you? Okay, so let's grab a couple of zip ties. All right, so the first piece we're going to put in is going to be the bottom piece. And the bottom of the S has to curve in that direction. Okay. If you were making mirrored pieces, it's totally okay to flip it and make it the other direction. But I'm making a proper S because this isn't for a double door. So you're going to see where you want it to lay. But you also have to take your other piece and kind of lay it in too and get a good line of how your S is going to be. So that might be a little too low. I might want to raise these up just a little bit. So probably about like that. You want it to kind of be proportionate top and bottom, so about hang the same either way if you're designing the floral arrangement. For this, though, I'm going to make it a little longer for the simple fact that some doors have that long oval window, and I want a little extra down here at the top. So it's not going to be so much that it looks lopsided, but just a little smidge. Every little bit helps because we're not going to add a lot of volume and bulk to this piece. So as you saw with the other one, there wasn't a whole bunch of stuff like the wreath last week. It wasn't packed full of florals and greens. It's very dainty and elegant. No questions? Okay. Sorry, I just saw new words up there. All right, so I like this placement, especially for the bottom. I can play with the top after we get it in. So I'm gonna take my zip tie and go ahead and get this piece secured in. All right, back up. I will say that you will want to start a design like this with a fairly clean grapevine wreath. So you want to trim off a lot of the craziness and make sure it's fairly clean inside. Pull that a little tighter, see if I can weave it in there a little better instead of cutting that. All right. So we've got that kind of making the S. Now, you know, this is all wired, so we can bend it and trim it. That'll hang out. Okay, so I'm going to tighten this down a little bit more. We are going to add some glue. Not a whole lot. Just a little extra security there. Oh, I just stuck my thumb right in it. I'm going to go ahead and make the hanger. I might make it out of the other one. Yeah. One's a little more rustic than the other. I don't know. Here, maybe it'll translate on camera. You can see the difference of the two. One's a little more rustic and one's got a little finer or tighter twist. So I'm just trying to match the texture that goes better with my wreath. It also comes in green. I think there's one other color, maybe a tan. I'm going to take this, and since we're not going to be covering the top with a bow, I'm going to kind of take my fingers and split the grapevine down the middle, run my covered wire down through the middle, and create my hanger that way. That way you don't see that binding coming around the front. Just makes it look a little more tidy to me, I think. Right. That needs to come up through there. All right. So once we get it fed through there, then we just wrap it around itself and create a little hook. I cut that a little long, so I'm going to trim those down just a little bit. And then take and poke them down inside the wreath. That way there's no pokey edges. Okay. So now we've created a nice hook. And it'll be easier to create our shape. Now, because this hangs a little low, I have to hang it off my table edge here a little bit. So now let's take the top piece. We're going to do the same thing. Take and run your hand down it, bend it into a curve, the other half of your S. Kind of give it a little shake. You can pull the pieces out a little bit, you know, but try to keep that curve in it. Okay. And the top usually you might want to be a little lighter. So we may end up cutting this branch out, but I'm going to put the whole thing in. It's formed a little differently than the last one I used of that other greener kind. So I want to see how this looks when I get it in. And they don't necessarily have to connect. If you were lucky enough to find a really nice, good, sturdy piece of green that was all in one piece that you know, didn't have to cut, that's great. But if you do, you don't have to connect them. Just know that you're going to have like a cluster of stuff here that will cover those mechanics. So we've got the S. Is that how it's laying? I may pull this S up just a little bit to here. So then that makes this one a little better. All right, let's pull that one up a little bit. So because this one's riding kind of low, I'm going to take the spine here and tack it up in another place, just so it lays like I want it to. Because if you lose the S shape, then it's just another arrangement. Feeding these things through, I'm not good at. All right, there we go. Well, this one I don't want to cinch down too tight because I don't want to make it hard to get any more stems in. But why won't this cinch down? Add it upside down. User error. So I'm not going to cinch down too hard, as I was saying, because I don't want it to make it too hard for me to get my stems in. So just putting it on there tight enough that it holds it in place. That's all. And when you clip off those zip ties, just make sure you're turning those pointy edges to the inside. All right, I think we're good on the back. Okay, so we've got our nice little S shape there. All right, another zip tie. Ow. Okay. So now we've got that one. We will have to coax it in the right direction as well. And we'll have to zip tie it down there. Like I said, all of these are really bendy. As you work, they're going to get all messed up, out of place. So I wouldn't, you know, futz with them too much until the end when you're ready to fluff. So I'm just taking another one and anchoring this down so it stays there. We'll cover it with something, so don't worry. Let me look at it and make sure. Yeah. Hi, Sherry. How are you? It's Friday. Right, so I'm just giving a little bit of life to these pieces. We can add, you know, more volume to those. Like I said, this may or may not stay there just for the simple way it's laying, but I kind of have to get some florals in to judge whether I have to move it or not. So as you can see, so far it's rough shape, but we still have the shape of our S, correct? All right, now the flowers that I chose for today is this bunch that's got, I don't know if these are cabbage roses or peonies. Doesn't say, but it's got a hydrangea, it's got some roses, and it's got these, maybe they're peonies, I don't know. Oh, come on. The little binder wire came off, so I had to zip tie them together. So when we're placing our flowers in, we have to be mindful of keeping that S-shaped line, okay? So typically you'll want to place your biggest, hi Kathy, good to see you, hon. You'll want to place your biggest here or a cluster or something, okay? So, what do I have here that I could, I don't know, I like this green, but maybe, no, it is just a teetotal wrong color of green. So maybe we do these. All right, we're gonna take off this bottom little branch of this. It's light ficus, but it's really a fern. It's like a sage green fern, and I get these at Michael's. So I'm just going to pull the 4 branches off of that vein, and we're going to go in here and kind of give a backdrop. I don't really want to individually pick these, so I'm trying to see if I can get away with just, you know, jamming them in there with some hot glue. So give me just a second. Okay, I might wait to put that one in. We're going to start with those 3, and we're going to glue those in. Let me look and make sure I got them in the right place before I start. Yep. So what that does, serves as a little backdrop for the stuff that we're going to put right here in the middle. Making sure they're sticking good. Just remember, I didn't pick them. They're just little plastic pieces I'm shoving up in there. So I'm going to make sure they're secure. Like that one. There we go. Glue was still a little warm, so they were moving. Right, like I said, all of this is going to get messed up as we're working. So we'll form that again later. I think maybe my husband's up. I just heard something out there. Okay, so back to the bush that we're going to use. This bush came with 1 hydrangea, 3 little bud roses, and Like I said, these are either peonies or they're cabbage roses. You see, I've got a cabbage rose. You know, they're probably cabbage roses. No, maybe they're peonies. They got all those stamens in the middle. Heck, I don't know. This pretty blue flower. Oh, well, thank you, Kathy. You missed where I showed you the other one that I made already. I'll post pictures maybe later on tonight. Okay, so if we're wanting to place our biggest or a cluster here in the middle, that's going to be your transition point. So here you've got everything above it going this way, everything below it going this way. So we just want to put like a cluster or your biggest flower. Okay. So we've got three of these, and we've got a hydrangea. To me, that would say hydrangea, but I don't think I even want to use the hydrangea. I think I want to do these three, and then maybe I could split this and pick it into two and use it that way. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I think I'm going to take and create this little bundle for the center, and then I'll finish out the shape with these other two, one top, one bottom, and then I'll take and cut this apart and make it into two different ones, and then we'll fill in with those. Alrighty? So we got some work ahead of us. I'm thinking, though, that I need to move this just this way. Move my hanger just a little bit because it's off. So I'm going to do that real quick. Actually, I think I may just put it on last. It worked better for me that way when I made the other one, so. Oh, the spaghetti sauce came. Bring that here. Bring that here. Oh, my Lord. So, y'all, how many of y'all use the McCormick Thick and Zesty spaghetti sauce mix? Do any of y'all use this? Have y'all had a hard time finding it in your grocery stores? Because we haven't been able to find it for what, 2-3 months?
Oh yeah.
It's been a while. So we've had to use some generic that doesn't even taste good. So finally I got online and did some research. They discontinued this. And the only way you can get it now, or they discontinued singles basically. The only way you can get it now is if you buy it in like lots of 6 or something. So I had to get on Amazon and or lots of 12, sorry. So I'd order 12 from Amazon just to get my spaghetti sauce mix. Crazy times we're living in. Okay, off my soapbox. I can't get this wire out of here now. Okay. Let's get this. Yeah. And then I'm not dragging the table so far. It's easier for me to design. Way easier. Okay, so here we are. Again. Thank you, honey.
Yeah.
Glad to know it came.
Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to that now.
We were having spaghetti tonight, whether it came or not. We would just use the generic if if that one didn't come today. But good old Amazon, they got it here. Okay, so my eyes itching. All right, let's create this little bouquet. Yep. So I'm going to take, where's my floral wire? I don't know if it's good. It's just what I've used for years. It's the one, I've made the recipe that's on the back. I make no special spaghetti, but my kids love it. So I just make the recipe that's on the back. But all the other, sauces that we've tried, they don't taste the same. They're not quite the same. You like what you like, So I'm just twisting these 3 pieces together. Ow. Try not to poke yourself with that end of the floral wire because it hurts. All right, I'm going to cut these down just a little because I don't need all of that sticking out here. All right, so I don't know if all of these are going to stick in there together now that I'm looking. I thought I had enough space, but maybe not. Got to tape it. Okay, Sloppy Joe mix was kind of an issue for you too? Yeah, I mean, the spice mix at my Walmart is pretty, that section, I mean, it's pretty bare. Lots of empty boxes, lots of empty slots, where product used to be. Um, so I don't know if they're just having a hard time, but like I said, for the spaghetti sauce mix, they did discontinue singles, so you have to buy it in like large quantities now, which is fine. It's like I told my husband, I said, I use 2 packets because I make double batch of sauce every time I do it. And so that's, 6 meals for us. That's not totally unreasonable to buy that many. But yeah, Kathy, McCormick is a good brand. Hi, Johnny Lynn. All right, so let's get this in there, maybe. It's got to go in just a little more. I'm going to try to put a little bend in it before I slide it in. It might make it a little easier for me here. Separate some branches. There we go. Yeah. All right. Now it's just a matter of making sure they're going to lay right. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay. So far, so good. Trying to keep that S shape. So now we're going to go in with the bud roses. I'm going to have to trim these down some. These have wires, but I can't say that they're easy to bend. Okay, so we've got that one hanging right there. Let's get the one in on top. Make sure we're keeping with the shape. And just know when you're building floral designs, you want to keep it heavier at the bottom and lighter looking at the top. So oh, come on. The other one here. I need. Gonna take a little pinch of moss and stick in there because it's a little loose. So if you've got a really loose weave grapevine and it's not holding your stems secure, just take a little piece of moss with some glue on it and shove it in there, around it, behind it, and then that'll make sure it's got a good steady base so it holds its shape. Now, as you see, I'm kind of putting it in we're going to kind of do an angle here, but with a slight bend in the rows. See that? Same goes down here. Push that in just a little more. Okay. Do we have any questions so far? Oh, moss will be your best friend, y'all. Lori's right. It is amazing stuff. Because you can't control the quality of these grapevines. Sometimes they're really tightly woven and you have to cut some out to give yourself room to even get stems in. And then sometimes you get them where there's barely anything in them and you've got all these big gaping holes. So, you know, if that is your situation and it won't hold your stem sturdy, just take a pinch of moss, rub it into a ball, put a little glue on it, and just shove it in and kind of take your finger and push it around that stem that you're trying to hold in there. Works every time. All right, so as you see, we've got our S still. We've put in our cluster in the middle. Okay, and if you'll notice, I didn't put them all the same height. They're kind of varying heights. All three of them are different heights. Now, we went in with the buds, roses after that, one on bottom, one on top. We're still creating that line shape, okay? Now, the next one we put in, we're going to kind of stair step it a little to this side, okay? So when you kind of want to go like left, right, or out, in, out, in, out, in, that kind of pattern when you're building this kind of shape, depending on how tall you're making it. So now let's take, where are my real picks? Where are my real picks? Oh, here they are. Got some long ones, so I'll cut these in half. I've got long ones. I'm going to cut them in half because I don't need nearly that much. We're going to take this hydrangea and we're going to cut, let's see, what do we got here? It's got 3 and 2. You know what? I don't even know if that's almost enough. Crud. We'll make it work. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, so there's an even amount. That's awesome. Okay. I can deal with that. We got an even amount. So I can make it look the same. Okay. So just take these pieces that you cut apart, put the pieces together, and then we're going to pick them together. And then we're going to take a little bit of floral wire to bind them, and then we'll tape them. We really don't want these things coming apart. Owie, owie. Okay, so then we'll tape it to a pick. This stuff's sticky. Floral tape is sticky. I'm going to stick this down through the center, I think. It's going to work. I should have picked these before I came live. I'm sorry, y'all. I just wanted to show y'all. I'm gonna do a little gluing because my achy hands just don't like doing it the hard way. I'm going to take and glue these to my pick and then tape them down. Then they don't roll around as much. People with good hands won't have to do this. Let that dry for a second. You love the flowers, Kathy? They came in a bundle. And I really love the color. It matched this whole color scheme I was going for. It was like meant to be. All right. Now we go back in with the wire and hope it stays this time. If not, I'm going to have to do this a little different, and I'll have to pick it each individual one, which I didn't really want to have to do. One day I'll get a pick machine. One day. And Amiibo. Alright, so I'm just taping. I go back over it one more time with a little bit of tape. Just that second layer. Hi. All right, so here we have one pick. Ta-da! Making all kinds of funny noises stretching over there.
That's hard.
Yeah. That's okay. I'm taking the long way around hand picking here. But I do. So much room back here now. Achy.
Achy.
Okay. Will you take the hamburger out of the freezer, please?
Yes,
Thank you. All right, we're almost done with this one, and then we can move along.
Just want one or two
One or two.
bags of hamburger.
I'm making a double batch.
Okay.
Do you want it meaty or not meaty?
Yeah.
A two. I know that was a stupid question, wasn't it? My husband works midnight, so he's just now crawling out of bed for the day. Hi, Margaret. Kathy, I think it would be beautiful in an entryway. All right. I hate the sticky. That floral tape leaves sticky residue. I just can't do it. All right. Moving on. Now that we have these picked. It'll be fine. It's been in the food saver. That's amazing. No freeze burn. All right, so this one will come up here. No, maybe it's too big. You don't want that top or bottom one to be bigger than the one above it. So I'm going to hold off on those after I've just picked them, and we're going to move on because I do have a ton of other stuff that I wanted to put in here. So let me just get a bunch of stuff out here. I'm not using these, so they can go back here out of my way. I just brought a bunch of stuff. You know, that doesn't always mean that that's what I'm going to use. All right, so these are, oh, I can't remember what these are called. Dadgummit. And I looked too. I'll have to tell y'all later. But I have these I thought about putting in. I have this blue, which I thought about putting in. I also have this, which is just, all of it's absolutely gorgeous. Why can't I just put it all? So I think we're going to go in with this next. Just going to cut it off at each little vein. All right. So I've got this longer piece right here. We're going to put some curve into it as well. And we're going to come up under here with it. Okay. So you see there's like a gap here. We'll come up under there. Now, you may not have a gap in the same place depending on how you bent those bottom leaves. So you're just going to have to use the idea and apply it to your piece as it's needed. Okay. So right like that. Gorgeous. We'll take these smaller pieces and we're going to soften the center in a minute. So again, give it a little bend. We'll come in the top with this one. Just like that. Okay. I'm going to set these little ones to the side because we'll do those at the end. Well, let's see about this blue. Did we want to put any of the blue in? I also have this really soft, it's almost like a pampas grass, but it's not. Is it on here? What does it say? Oh, it is. It's pampas. Okay. We had that. And I thought that would be cute to cut little pieces off and put in there. I don't want the whole big piece because we have all of this already. So maybe we do just little pieces of it. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start down here and cut off little pieces. Everybody still with me? All right. It's harder to see for you. Oh, I'm sorry. I know I stand right in the way sometimes. I apologize. All right, so we're going to go in and kind of fill in with some of this wispy, airy pampas grass. Be careful with letting hot glue drop onto these styrofoam greens that we're using, because it will melt them. It will, it will. Oh, Mama needs new glasses. You love this grass? Oh, I have found a new love for pampas grass, except for a lot of it is really sheddy. Is that a word? Sheddy? It better be. All right, so we're going to go in now, right around in here with some of these little pieces that we're going to use to soften the edges here. Get those out right there. Maybe I'm strong enough. It's the stems to the bunch of roses. They're sticking out kind of far. Almost. Yeah, got it. All right. I think I need to put a little more glue in there now, though. Hold the phone. I don't want these pieces moving. I want them stuck. Okay. So we've got some of this down in the bottom. Let's start bringing some of it in the top. Now, since we've got one here, we're going to come directly up and put one in here. That little rose, I'm going to have to do something else. It's just not staying where I want it. Oh, well, maybe I just needed to push it in further. Ha! That was user error. My bad. Okay. Bring back in here. Make sure it's going the right direction. I'm going to take one of our trusty little pieces that we save every week and make a little U-pin like so. And I'm going to use that to help hold the structure of this rose in place, because the moss just wasn't enough. So we're going to give it a little more. Oh, yeah. Perfect. Okay. Now, got one more long piece here we're going to go up in there with. You have become a blue person. You love it now. It's just a bunch of different hues of blue and purple, and it's gorgeous. Then we've got these. There needs to be a little more blue up top. I'm thinking maybe we're going to put one more blue up top. Yep. Put it in and see what we think. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. Just make sure you're keeping the shape. Okay. I also had these little things. I don't know if we need these. They're kind of pretty. I like them maybe coming out of the center. And then we had these. Y'all seen me use these before. So let's take and put a little bit of this in there. These are like bells, mixed mini bell bush. So I take and I just twist it around. Well, normally it does better than that. Twist it around your finger. Make it like into a curly Q like that. Sometimes I bend it too far. I'm just using it for another texture, that's all. Not wanting to lay right, there we go, I think that's better. All right, here's a pretty pink and purpley one. Okay. Give it some life. And we're gonna go in with these two pieces because we want to give it some depth and make it really 3D. We're going to go right in here with these two pieces and have them coming out just like that. About building layers. Okay, that is so gorgeous. Let's see what pieces do I want to use up top. Lots of stitches. Oh no. Bless your heart. Okay, that one looks good there. So since we put some in the bottom, we've got to put some in the top to balance it out. Take some more pieces here, some of the smaller ones. Maybe I've gotten all the smaller ones now. There's one that's just berries. Well, that's a good attitude, Lori. You will be better in a few days, and you'll be better than you were before because you won't have pain. So you got a lot of prayer warriors behind you too. All right, so we'll go in with some of this back here too. we're just trying to bring in a little bit of what we put in the bottom. And remember, I said the bottom needs to be heavy or heavier, and the top is where you kind of keep it light. So as you see, I'm putting these in as single pieces. That way I can control where they're going. You know, when you put them in as a big piece, you're kind of left to, you know, what that piece wants to do. This way, you know, if you put them in one at a time, you get to choose where they go, not just having to deal with how they're laying. I'm going to go back in here with this one. Make sure these leaves are sticking in where they need to be. Probably need to get that one put in there. But this one's just not laying where I want it to be. Let me work with it a minute. Better. All right, so now we're left with this beautiful blue, which I'm not so even sure now that I want to put it in there, to be perfectly honest. I don't think I am. I'm going to put a little bit more of these in, like I said, around. I don't need this. I don't need that. I have these pretty little purple things that I could put in there too, I think. We'll do a couple of those. We might end up doing one or two more of these pieces, but I want to wait closer to the end. I have these that I want to put these in. I really like these. I do. So let's try to incorporate those. All right, let's start building out the center, and then we can go through and fill in, and I think we'll be done. All right. Just the smaller one, the smaller one. I'm going to go back in behind there. Right here. Remember, if we have to go in with moss to cover mechanics, that's okay. I'll go in. I can't get that to go in right there because I don't have a pick on it. And these are really flimsy, so I'm gonna have to think. I think I can go in and pull out some of this glue that's hardened right here where I've attached everything and make a path. Give me just a second. This is your transition point, so it gets pretty yucky. You're going to see lots of glue here. but that's okay. Strategically placed bowl of moss, and you'll never know. Maybe I can get it in there now. Where was I even trying to put it now? This maybe work better. Yes. That answer is yes. That works way better. And one more. Yeah, I do. Alrighty. I don't dislike those. I'm gonna add these next. These are thistle sprays. Thistle sprays. Where's my other one? Oh, I didn't get it out. My kids are home. So I'm just looking, standing back a little bit. Wow, wow, wow. She's pretty. What else does she need? That. I love it when it all comes together, don't you? Don't you? Some more pampas grass. Thank you, Marcia. I'm just bringing a little bit of this pampas grass to the top because it's kind of buried, and I really, really like the look of the texture. So I'm bringing some of it kind of in where you can see it, but trying not to make it too heavy. She's so pretty, y'all. I think maybe one more piece of this up top, but the little piece, I think I can take that right there and make it little. There we go. Wowza. All right, I haven't glued some of this stuff in, so hold the phone because I've gotten ahead of myself. Why did I do that? All right, let me get some of this glued in before we go any further, because I'll never remember to go back and glue. I am not good like that. I'll forget. I didn't want to do that. Let's get this one in on this side. Here. Yeah. Okay. 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 Let's see what we got left here. I need to put those back in that spot right in there. No. There we go. Now, let's see. We've got some mechanics that we need to hide. So before we go pulling more supplies, let's look and see what we've got here left over on our table that we could possibly use. I didn't put any of these in, but I just think that's too much, so we're going to leave that. I still have one more thing of blue, which needs to go down here because I pulled it out. And then I've got these little pieces. So let me get this blue in, and then we'll go. I think I can do that and then bring the pieces out. Yep. I love things that are just so sturdy wired. So I'm gonna just lift these up, come up under, stick this straight up, and then I can take and bend some of these blue pieces up through so they're kind of sticking out. They're on wires, so got to make sure this blue flower is visible because it helps create the line. So if it gets hidden in the back, you've got to bring it to the front. All right, that looks really good. Let's see, we need to fill in a little bit up in there. So we're just going to take these extra pieces. We're going to kind of fill in that little bit. Now you don't have to. This is just my version. If y'all go look up Hogarth Curve or the Lazy S, you'll be able to find all kinds of videos of people making floral arrangements in this style. I'm going to do one more piece up here, but I'm going to take these leaves off because I don't like them. Take the leaves off that. That gives me just pretty little pieces that I'm going to stick in there. I think she's about done. I would really like to get some of this in right there. So let me see if I can make that work. I'm going to trim this off. I want it to lay right there, so I need to insert it that way. Yes, there we go. Yeah. That doesn't look good sticking out there, so it's going to go away too. Perfect. Now, if you still have a little bit of mechanics that need to be hidden, you can always take a little bit of boxwood that might complement it and just snip you off a few pieces and place them wherever you need a little help. So these are complementary colors. I need a little bit of help right here for the mechanics. So I'm just going to take and put some of these in there to help camouflage that. This is not to alter the shape, it's just to provide some coverage. That is all. Just like that. And then you're probably going to want to come in on this inside because remember we use zip ties. And even though they're green, they still don't match the grapevine. So put a little bit of something over it to cover it. You need it anywhere else. One right there. One more right there. Got one more piece right in there, and then I think we're good and covered and done. You like it, Lori? You want to do it? Go for it. They're actually kind of fun. I've enjoyed doing these. So let's just put that in there. Let it rest all on the inside there over that stuff. Perfect. Ah. All right, let me see if I've got a small round sign just so we can see size reference. Oh yeah, here's one from Pam, I believe. Yep. So on this 14-inch frame, if you wanted to do one of the 8-inch round signs, I've got this one we'll just use for size reference. So you could totally put, you know, a sign on it as well, like that. Ah, hold on. I'll finish it up in a minute. So I'll bring out the other one that I did so you get a good idea of what they look like with ribbon and without ribbon. Let me see how far I can zoom out here. Can I go any further? No. I am out as far as out is going to let me be. Okay, so here's the one that I did for my daughter. Okay, it's got the ribbon. And I'll post pictures of both of these after the live. So it's a little different than this one. Different interpretation. Still a lazy S. Now I'll hold up the one we just made. I don't know if y'all can see it. There. Move this out of the way. So y'all got a white backdrop. Oh, yay. I'm glad y'all like it. So glad. So I've shown you bigger with sign, with ribbon, smaller without sign, with sign. No ribbon on this one. But basically for the S shape, you want your cluster, your transition point to be here. And then everything below it is going to curve one way. and everything above it's going to curve the other way. And it doesn't matter if you flip it for a double door. It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong. It doesn't matter if the S is, read backwards. As long as you're just creating that curve, that S. Does anybody have any questions? No? All right. Well, another one in the books. I hope y'all liked it. And I'll try to get pictures here in just a few minutes, and I'll post them in the group a little bit later. Okay? All right. Have a great weekend. Be safe, Lori. I hope you feel better soon. Prayers are with you. And anybody else who's hurting and just in need of a prayer, I'll pray for everybody in the group today. So I will see y'all next Friday. Have a good weekend.